Hi everyone. So one of my subscribers sent this video to me, and it's really quick, and I was watching it, and it's like the epitome of everyday white people. Just like majority of white people fit straight into this category, and it is a psychopath. We all think of like characters like one of my favorite movies, which is called The American Psycho, and we always think of people like that actor, how he portrayed himself as just I should have got a showed you guys part of that video, but I'm sure most people have already seen American Psycho. But if you haven't, maybe you should just watch it, and if you do, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is just like my coworker, or this is like Jane up the street. So anyways, I'm gonna play this video really quickly, and then we'll talk about it. It's kind of funny because it's just like, wow, you know, this is who I sit next to on the bus, or it really shows you kind of every person that you've met, every person you went to school with that happened to be white. Like, these are their traits, and it's telling. It's very telling.
Psychopathy. Is it all about Dr. Lecter from Silence of the Lambs and Norman Bates from Psycho? How about Patrick Bateman from American Psycho? Think again. A psychopath isn't a crazy person from a movie, bloodthirstily running around, ready to kill you on sight. Have you ever wondered if any of your friends could actually be a psychopath? Or is Hollywood's definition of a psychopath more appealing? Contrary to
Now, if you have white friends, you will most likely, they will fit into this analogy, right?
what many people think, not every psychopath is a killer or a criminal. They have a personality disorder known as psychopathic personality, which falls under the antisocial personality disorder category in the 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. This disorder is characterized by lack of empathy, lack of remorse, and antisocial behavior.
Now, if I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, every white person's not like this. I know there's probably a lot of people thinking, like, you know, that they don't know white people that are like this. But here's a test that you can always figure out how a white person really thinks. If you talk to them about slavery, but mostly if you ask them if they think black people should get reparations, then you will see their lack of empathy. Then you will see their they don't feel sorry for black people having to deal with the stuff that we deal with today. If you ask one of them to, even if you just like talk about reparations, they can't even fathom or understand why black people should be kind of put on the same financial or social level as they are.
Hollywood loves to portray psychopathy as madness to ensure a box office hit, but in everyday life, that's not necessarily true. When it comes to the likelihood of having a psychopath in your life, the odds are not in your favor. According to Dr. Paul Babiak, 1 in every 100 people is likely to have psychopathic traits.
And I'm going to say it's way more than that. It's way more than that. Because when you can have a child get shot by a white supremacist terrorist, and you can have a group of white people asking, well, the kid finding excuses of what the child could have done to not get shot. That's a problem. That's where that psychopath kind of fits in. Where's their roots of empathy? Where's their Like, that is insane when you can sit there and make excuses to why a child got murdered, and unarmed, not doing anything bad, and you can try to look into their school records to try to dig up some dirt on that 12-year-old. That's psychopathic. That is disgusting. And there's definitely more than 1 in 100. It's way more than that.
And the probability is even higher as you go up in the office food chain, where you'll find 1 among every 25 managers and executives. The real reasons behind psychopathy are usually narrowed down to genetic factors. Yes, many criminals are psychopaths, but the majority of psychopaths are not involved in criminal acts at all.
They're involved in criminal acts. That's not the thing. The thing is, they're not prosecuted for these criminal acts. They don't get in trouble for them. They never have to answer for their criminal acts, their thievery, their murder, their rape, their incest, their bestiality. They're not charged with anything. So it always looks like that most of them aren't criminals. But they're criminals. They're just, if they're the ones that are in control of who gets prosecuted for these criminal acts and who doesn't, why they don't prosecute each other? They're like, oh no, I work with Jane at the bank up the street. No, I'm not gonna prosecute that person. You know, they don't want to prosecute people who look like them and talk like them and act like them, because then they need to set this stage and set this scenario for everyone to look at, and to make it seem like it's Black people that are doing all this degenerate behavior, when really it's them, and that's part of their psychopathic.
Here are 10 key traits of psychopaths. 1. Lack of empathy. A psychopath simply cannot feel what everyone else feels. They understand your feelings, but they don't feel them.
And if you can think of any white person and see that they have no empathy when a Black person is killed, an unarmed Black person, if they can't even have empathy if a child is killed, they know it, they see it, they don't feel any care. They just don't care. They don't care if we die on the streets. They don't care if we are discriminated against. They don't care. They know it. They know it happens. They deny it a lot because and the reason why they're denying it, because if they acknowledge it, then they know they should feel bad about it and they should want to do something to change it. But if they just simply don't even acknowledge it, then they don't need to change it, because it just doesn't exist, because it's not affecting them negatively.
Even if you're crying your heart out over the death of a loved one, they'll show compassion only to please you, not out of true emotional empathy. 2. Manipulativeness. Always knowing the right strings to pull and the right buttons to push, psychopaths use deception to cheat others into thinking, believing, or acting in certain ways.
So this goes to the media. If you turn on the TV, you can turn on the news, you can look at a magazine, they're manipulating everything. They manipulate what you see, they manipulate what you hear. They're always perpetuating white supremacy. If you turn on the news, they try to find as many Black people as they can possibly put in the negative limelight, even though they had to push aside 100 white people being degenerates and breaking the law and being illegal. They will push 100 of them aside just to post one in your face, just to show you one Black person in a negative view, so that you can, in your mind is trained to see Black and think bad. And that is how they manipulate, and that is definitely a trait that they have.
They only focus on personal gains with no concern whatsoever for how others feel.
How others feel, whether they poison the water, whether they, with their spraying chemtrails in the air, it doesn't matter, child labor, sex trafficking, they'll do whatever it takes to get what they want, and the total disregard for everything and everybody else.
3. Irresponsibility. Impulsive behavior and irresponsibility is their lifestyle. A psychopath would never admit to their mistakes.
And I know some of you guys might be thinking, oh, well, you know, white people have the most money and we're the richest country. We've been in debt as a country. It's easier to tell you how many years we've been out of debt. We've not been in debt for 1 year since this country has been established. 1 year. Okay, that means all the other years we have been in debt. That is irresponsibility. How is that not irresponsible? 1 year we've been in the clear.
In fact, they turn the tables against whoever accuses them of anything so that the accuser would think again and even feel guilty about their complaints.
We're not being racist. We're not being discriminatory. You're just lazy, or we were afraid. That's why we had to kill that unarmed black man. It's their fault. They should have had white skin, because that is the only way that they would have saved their lives.
4. Narcissism. Psychopaths usually view themselves as smarter, more powerful, and of more worth than everyone else.
Now tell me that's not how white people live, in this false supremacy. If one white person can get on here and name me one benefit to being white other than social, but they will tell you, oh, that girl, she has blonde hair and blue eyes, even though both of those are not beneficial traits. If you have light eyes, you are more likely to have bad eyesight and have to wear glasses. Obviously, if you have white skin, you can't go outside and sit in the sun without burning. So and yet they're telling you this is what you should strive to have, and this is what you should strive to be. And for some reason, everyone falls for it. I don't know. It's like something they put in the water, which I honestly would not doubt that. I'm not going to call that a conspiracy theory. They probably are putting something in the water and the food and in everything else so that you can believe their stupidity.
Have an extravagant, almost theatrical self-perception, thinking that the world revolves around just themselves.
And that's why I call it global white supremacy. I call white supremacy global terrorism, because the whole world has to bend and fold to fit white supremacy. And that's why they get to do chemtrails, which is trying to block the sun so that they don't burn, regardless to the fact that it's poisoning the water, that it's killing the bees, that it's killing the birds. Oh, well, as long as we're okay, that's all they care about. That's all white people care about, is themselves. It doesn't matter if they have to destroy the entire globe and the entire world. They will do that just to benefit themselves, just to try and make sure that they can stay on Earth. And that's the horrible thing is, because people evolve, and a white person is not an evolved person. If you can't go outside and sit in the sun, then there's something wrong. And if white people want to say they're from ancient Egypt, so you were able to sit in the sun because you couldn't have survived being in ancient Egypt with no sunscreen, and you guys didn't all die of skin cancer. But now, how did you evolve? You didn't evolve. So we're not going to evolve. When people are allowed to evolve, there will not be any white people. And so we're just have to keep people stagnant and just like try to make the earth bend to us. We'll just try to get rid of the sun, because if we just get rid of the sun, then white people will be fine. Everything and everyone else will die off, but who cares, right?
5. Pathological lying. Psychopaths tend to lie, and lie even more.
They lie about slavery. They lie about, oh, black people sold each other. They lie about everything. Even when they sit there and try to act like, oh, we do feel bad for slavery. Yeah, we have no consequence. We didn't get any consequence, and we didn't do anything to put you guys on the same platform as everyone else so that you guys can have equality. No, we just lie about everything. We lie about how many how many black people are criminals versus white people. We lie about that. Just lie, lie, lie. Because every time they show you on TV, oh, Chicago, the deaths in Chicago, we just can't even just imagine Chicago. They're lying. Okay, because you can't tell me for the last 50 years Chicago has been in such dire shape and so much death and destruction, and they just can't do anything about it. If you fall for that bullcrap, then you're just as dumb as they are, because it's impossible. If it was a problem, they would have been and fixed it. Obviously, if there's a problem, Chicago's not even in the top 10 murder states. They don't even have the top 10. So every time they're screaming Chicago, they're telling you a lie. Every time they're telling you that they're trying to do something to investigate these white supremacist terrorist cops, they're lying. Every time they're investigating some disgusting white supremacist murderer, they're lying. Every time they open their mouths, they're lying.
Their lives are spider webs of lies. This ranges from moderate levels to high levels of lying. 6. Superficial charm. Smooth, charming, and attractive, psychopaths aren't afraid to do or say anything they like. That absence of embarrassment attracts others, as it can be misperceived as high self-confidence.
Yeah, and the thing is, they just tell you that they're pretty. They go get a tan and get some ass injections and some lip injections, and then tell you that they're beautiful, that they're the new face of beauty. It's just ugh.
Their hawk-eyed glares are mistaken for sexual magnetism by women. 7. Lack of remorse. Psychopaths don't feel guilty for the suffering and pain they inflict on others, or for their actions in general.
Can I just say, over 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, today, everything, no remorse. And you know, the sad thing is, we're not giving them a reason to feel remorseful. So, I mean, that's kind of on us. That really is on us. But they don't have any remorse for it. They don't care. They don't feel bad. They'll sit there and make false equivalents, like telling you, oh, the Holocaust. It's like, dude, 40 years, go sit down. But there's no remorse. They don't care. They don't feel bad when they kill a child. They look up, try to find dirt on the child. Like, literally go to a elementary school and try to look up how many detentions a 12-year-old got to justify their slaughtering of them. It's nasty. It is nasty. Like, I just can't.
8. Proneness to boredom. Forever bored, psychopaths have an exaggerated need for adrenaline overdose, so they're always looking for excitement and thrill.
That's why they're always killing someone. That's why we're always at war with someone. This right here, we need to think about this one. This is why we are always at war with someone, because they need to be killing. They need to have some excitement. They need to do, even when you have white people marching in the Black Lives Matter, they're doing it for attention. They're doing it so that they can feel like they're getting some action. That's it. That is the only reason. And this boredom is part of their reason for this, for global terrorism, because, well, I'm bored, so let me pick another country to attack. It's nasty. They don't care how many people die in these wars. That doesn't matter. It's all part of their whole little agenda of feeling important. They need to be more important than everybody else at the expense of everything and everyone.
9. Bullying. Psychopaths are usually abusive towards those that are not of much benefit to them.
You tell me.
This could be subordinates, elderly people, children, or in most cases, animals.
I can bring up case after case after case of them being bullies, of them bullying other countries. When we're going to war with these countries, we are bombing their children, we're bombing schools, we're bombing the women. We don't care. We don't care who it is. White people bully black people all the time. Anyone that they think that they can get away with it. They've been bullying black people since before we even came into this country, and yet we still have not stood up and said we're putting a stop to it. But we will. I have faith that we will stand up, and we will definitely, I know for a fact we will get reparations. We will get our reparations, and we will end white supremacist terrorism. It's just a matter of time, but we really need to, I need this to be in my lifetime. I need it to be. Like, you guys can't even imagine how much, like, just trust me when I say I need it to be.
Like to exercise their power over other fragile beings through bullying, and they may shoot hurtful words at any time without warning. 10. Sucker for power.
And I'd say that's why they have to fly, drive around up in as north as possible as they can get with Confederate flags. Like, there's no other reason for that except to try to bully people. Because it's like, dude, you're like you're north of Seattle, and yet you have a Confederate flag. Either you're extremely stupid, which I don't put that past them either, just dumb as all get out, and you're trying to bully. Because there would be no other reason for that. But these are just examples of the stuff that they do, the stuff that's done. And I've had, white people want to sit there and say, oh, the Confederate flag isn't about racism. Tell that to the millions of black people that you guys killed in the Civil War, okay? Let's just tell that to them.
Power. They have an excessive need to exercise power and control over others. In other words, they are control freaks. Everything must go the way they want it to.
They do. We can poison your immunization shots, so we do. We can spray poison over everybody with the chemtrails, so we do. We can poison the water, so we do. That's the thing. They can and they do, and it doesn't matter who pays the price. It doesn't matter the consequence or who pays the price. All right.
And that's it for the 10 main traits of psychopaths. Now that you know what a psychopath is, do you think you've ever encountered one?
Yes, you have. I'm just going to tell you right now, you have. I know I have. This definitely has opened my eyes. And there's a lot of other psychiatric evaluations or psychiatric traits that they have that are just horrible and disgusting, and this is white supremacy, and this is what we're dealing with. The more we know what we're dealing with, the better chance of we will be able to combat that. So please share this video as much as possible. Please like, go ahead and comment, subscribe. If anyone wants to email me some other topics that they want me to discuss, again, this was something that one of the subscribers didn't email, but just left it on the comments. If you want to leave something on the comments, a link to anything that you want me to discuss, I will definitely do that. Obviously I'm not going to be able to do everyone, and if it doesn't make any sense to me, then I'm not going to discuss it. But if it fits into my agenda of ending white supremacy and educating people on white supremacy and this global terrorism that white supremacy is, then I will definitely get to that. Also, anything that is beneficial to the Black community, that it's uplifting to the Black community, I will address that. I won't address anything that's negative towards the Black community or that portrays Black people in a negative manner. There's already enough of that out there. You can turn on the TV and find that. There's a plethora of white people doing bad things, derogatory things, nasty things that we're not being shown. We're not shown that, and that's what I want to show people. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next.